And we are live. And guess what? I'm your host. You might know me. I'm Bear. I'm here with Daniel. He's your other host. We're like the best hosts out there. That's why you just hit like. Oh, you didn't yet. Do that now. Anyway, we're talking about suffering because suffering, everybody has suffering. Everybody has pain and discomfort and all sorts of negative feelings and emotions. And a lot of times when we feel those emotions, when we feel those negative feelings and thoughts and pain and stuff, we're suffering, right? We classify all these things as suffering. That's kind of where I want to go with this because there's this thing a lot of people don't know. I want to share this tip that I'm sure Daniel will be on board with. That when you experience suffering and you bear it with joy, with enthusiasm, with a positive mentality and attitude about something good can come from this, one of those results automatically in bearing it in joy is love. Love comes from that. People see love just emitting, like radiating from you.
Yeah. Well, this is something I actually just wrote about, which is that pain is self-created. Like you think about physical pain, that's not what people typically complain about. It's or
Yeah, like
is that, but it's
mental or
amplified through psychological pain. And
right.
that's and there's a difference between pain that's bearable and there's pain that's unbearable. And when it becomes psychological, it starts to become unbearable, and that's you causing that. So you have the control, like Andrew's saying, to deal
Choose your
with
attitude.
choose your attitude and start to deal with your suffering in a way when it actually becomes it doesn't become suffering anymore. It becomes something you bear with joy. You put meaning, you put purpose behind it, and it's all about the purpose, the meaning, the interpretation you have of the suffering going on. That's what's causing the pain. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that. I mean, real quick, think about even pain. You're going to magnify it if you know there's going to be a prolonged pain, right? If you just feel whatever, you broke your leg or something like that. If you just are fully present in the moment and you're not worried about the future and having to walk up the stairs, this is all thinking about that. It's all just amplifying the pain. Even getting a shot from a doctor, right? You're
Well,
worried
and you
about getting the shot. You feel pain before you get there, and they haven't even given you the shot yet. So,
that yes, that you mentioned this earlier, right? To that same point. Like, yeah, if you stub your toe hurts, right? But like a lot of times, most of the pain we experience is in our head. We're like, I'm suffering, I'm in pain, I'm in agony because of some anxiety I have about confronting something, or the way I think someone treated me, or the fact that someone won't do something for me. Like most of our suffering is in our heads. Like, and I don't say this to degrade the experience at all, but like even people who were in labor camps and who were their bodies were hurting and they were malnourished in like labor camps in the past. A lot of their pain was amplified mentally. Like they took something that was uncomfortable and wasn't pleasant and made it worse because they thought about it. They dwelt on it. They just immersed themselves in these thoughts that said, this sucks. This is horrible. I can't do
yeah.
this. When really a lot of people who made it out of labor camps were able to have a joyful, positive mentality about it to where they were like, you know what? I'm going to wake up. I'm going to work. My body is going to hurt when I work, but it hurts when I work anyway. I'm not going to receive the amount of food I need, but maybe I will tomorrow. Like they were still able to look for some sort of a joyful focus point, attitude, mentality, and just keeping their mind in check. It took what will become for many of us this 90% of our pain being mental and reduced it to simply the physical pain, to the minimum pain we had to experience. And a lot of times they didn't even notice that. They kind of numbed their bodies to the pain they were experiencing that they couldn't stop feeling, because they were being forced at gunpoint to work or whatever. And they kind of, they were able to kind of overlook even the most minimal pain that they did have to endure. So much of it is mental. That's such an important point.
Yeah, and isn't what you were
So I,
talking
I don't
about
know if
is
you had any.
the book. No, I'm just saying, I'm just referencing the book that talks
Oh
about
yeah,
like the
Social Listening's book.
Or
A Day in the Life of
oh,
Ivan Denisovich. Yeah,
oh,
that is the book I'm referencing. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Yes, yes. And there's other books about people in work camps. There were Chinese people in labor camps in America. There were, people laboring in German camps. There were people laboring in Russian labor camps exist, but the mentality of those people in extreme physical discomfort that they couldn't pass up. Some of them, many, often the ones who survived and thrived, like Alexander, um, they maintained their attitude, right? And I would go as far as to say some of them had joy. They allowed themselves to feel joy, because something I remind myself every day
I think this
is
is
that
true.
is something I remind myself every day is that your thoughts control your emotions. 100%. When I start thinking good thoughts, my emotions change. No lie. It takes some effort. But even when I have cut my finger open splitting wood and my finger is in pain, bleeding out, I can control my thoughts, have better feelings, have better, have better emotions, and not get caught up in the pain.
Hmm. But I totally believe what you said about experiencing joy. It's like, I mean, even just looking back to the worst times you've had, you during those times, you probably had the best times. Like shit goes down, life gets shitty, but there's always this cycle of ups and downs, ups and downs. And I
Yeah,
tell people this all the time. Water feels better when you're drinking it when you're thirsty. Food tastes better when you're hungry and starving.
right.
Rest feels better when
That's
you
so funny
don't
when
have
you say
enough
that.
rest.
A
And
lot of
so,
people they
yeah,
experience stuff like that, like maybe a breakup is a good example. You experience a breakup and you're like, oh man, I'm so hurt, right? I'm gonna go do things to take my mind off it. Like, maybe you go to an amusement park and you have fun all day at an amusement park and you're kind of afraid to go home because like there's nothing to distract you. But like even when you go to an amusement park in the middle of suffering from a breakup, you have fun. And you have fun because you've controlled your thoughts. You've allowed your thoughts to shift on the attention of the amusement park. So you can do the same thing. You don't always need some outside thing to change your thought process, to change your focus. You can do that. You don't have to go to an amusement park to feel joy, to feel fun when you're suffering through something painful, like the loss of someone.
hmm yeah, and it takes a lot of intention to do that. And something I'd want to
It
say
does. Oh
that
yeah.
is that, to your
It's worth
point
it.
in the beginning, is that the man that suffers and believe it's for his benefit is going to suffer less than the man that suffers
Yes.
the same
Oh yes.
believes it's for his detriment.
That's so powerful, right? Because that gives you a purpose behind the joy. It's saying, I will experience joy through this. But I won't just experience joy for no reason. I'll experience joy through this because I believe something greater will come from this. That is having faith. That is trusting and having faith,
Hmm.
right? And that is putting a purpose behind your attitude and behind your suffering. That talk about, how difficult it is. That'll make it a lot easier.
Hmm. And it's like trusting and faith are rewards in itself. Like
They're key. They're
you don't have
absolutely
to
critical.
trust that you're going to get through. Like just being present and trusting just makes the present experience better.
Yeah.
You don't have to hope for a better future. Having hope is going to make your current situation feel better. Someone else I heard say it's better to live through life and, believe everything's going to be okay. Even if
Yeah.
it's going to be okay, it's better to believe it's going to be okay because
Absolutely.
that's going to help you not freak
It
out
keeps you
in the current
moving.
moment.
It
Yes.
keeps you moving. Yes. It keeps your shoulders straight and you on your feet. And that's why, whatever it is, pain, discomfort, suffering, when you bear that with an attitude of joy, love will be born from that. Many other things will be born from that too, most likely. But at a minimum, at a bare minimum, you'll at least produce love. And I would guess you want to produce love in your life. You want greater love in your life. And that greater love you want in your life, you can be the one radiating it. So that's what I got.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Hit like, hit
Thanks for
like,
watching.
and
Done.
subscribe. Done.